All right. Grace says, "Is it that time again? I've been on the road way too long." Um, it's 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm streaming a little earlier this afternoon. Um, because it is Friday. And our great niece is going back to her mom and dad's this weekend right now. Actually, they were here right now. That's why I was just a couple minutes late to getting going here. Is my sister-in-law and my niece are here. So I'm gonna go watch Slow Horses with my wife tonight, so we can get the review for that out. We might watch a movie tonight. We started watching the Fantastic Four movie the other day. Chris fell asleep. She's not a big superhero fan, but I was like, let's watch it. I think we got like 30 minutes into it, and she was like, I'm sleepy. So we need to finish watching that. So maybe we'll finish watching that tonight. So we're gonna stream for a couple hours here now. I am attempting once again to use Streamlabs to see if the API issues are fixed. If we have any stream hiccups, everybody, I'll put I'll push live over on. We'll go over to Stream Elements. I can't multi-stream to TikTok using Stream Elements yet, but I can to Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. So if we have any hiccups, like we're the last couple of days, we'll just go back to using Stream Elements, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to avoid pushing everything to socials just yet. I'm going to wait till about 20-30 minutes in before I do the socials. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's just push them now. And then if I have any hiccups, I'll have any hiccups. Let's try here. And also because we got storms coming through. We had power outages yesterday. So on the off chance that we have power outages again today, how come that did not work? There it goes. All right, let's see if we have any hiccups today. Happy Friday, says Chris Mills. Yeah, I mean, it's just another day.
Hey, you made it to camp. Do you have a moment? I'm glad you made it here. I was worried my instructions were too vague. These lands, everything is trying to kill us. 3 deckhands are still missing. The captain says we can't spare the men to go searching for where they washed up, especially for deckhands. If you're heading out east, could you look for them? I can mark on your map the beaches the tide might have carried them to. Thank you. Their names are Hippias, Cleo, and Dion. They're the closest thing I've got to family. I pray you find them alive.
Okay.
Good luck out there.
My other question is lightning damage, energy. Oh, that's right. I'm using a sword right now. I doubt I'll find anything better than the sword. I'm quite enjoying it, Ralph.
Yet another strap. Welcome. Make your.
We are, I would assume we're in the final half of chapter 2 right now.
You aid Lord Glaukos. I wonder if you'd be willing to aid a mere mortal such as I. My ship's engineer, Anaxis, was lost to the sea in the wreck. But Lord Glaukos thinks he might have washed ashore to the east. I need Anaxis. Only he can craft us a vessel seaworthy enough to sail back to Syracuse. Will you keep an eye out for him? Thank you.
You know what?
Anaxis, he
I
built the
took
legacy. I just
these
hope
quests the
he's
other day.
alive.
I'm thinking it didn't. I didn't save it before I logged out because I had actually already picked up those 2 quests. I was sitting there going, didn't I already hear from these guys? Let's go down in this direction. You shush. Shush, Gray. you shush. I don't want to hear none of that. No questions allowed. What's up? Are there any sick kids at school? Okay. Give me a second, guys. Chris is giving me a report on school. Let me take my headset off. I did not go to the school for the. There was a meeting today at the preschool. I'm getting filled in on what happened at the meeting. So there has been. It's unfortunate. Well, there's 2 things. For those of you who have kids, I don't have kids, so this stuff to me is like um, it's interesting to me because I've never had to deal with this stuff before. So one is so the norovirus was going around like started going around like 2 weeks ago. A bunch of people got sick. Chris got sick because if you remember, she was sitting here and all of a sudden just in the middle of the day at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, just started like vomiting all over the place. And she spent all day vomiting. and then like the next day just feeling really really bad with diarrhea and not feeling good, and like 2 days of that. So then I guess at the meeting today, they've been at the school has been telling everybody for like the last 8 to 10 days, there is a virus going around the school. Make sure your kids wash their hands, all this other stuff. So I guess at the meeting today, one of the parents was like trying to like tell the teacher, why aren't you, why do you still have class when the kids are sick? It's your fault that my whole family got sick. And the teacher's like calmly trying to explain to the lady, actually, no, it's not our responsibility to take care of the sick children. It's the parents' responsibility when their child is sick to keep the child home. If you send your child to school and the child is sick, that's your problem. Like, you're the one at fault if you send your child to school. So that was kind of funny. The other one is there is a problem child, and it's unfortunate. There is a problem child in preschool, and I think this is just a greater discussion about bad, when there's trouble at home. There is a problem child in preschool who has been beating up on other kids. They're only like 3 or 4 years old, right? But he's been beating up on other kids. And this same kid is like every single day when we come to pick up our grandniece, there's like 10 or 12 kids in that class. All the moms are lined up outside of the classroom to pick up their kids. And this kid, every single time, it'll be like he'll be there by himself. Like, no, he's like, his parents are always like 30 minutes late. And it got so bad, I guess, that the director of the school said yesterday in a big announcement to the school, if you are more than 10 minutes late on a regular basis, we are going to call child services, because you're not a responsible parent. If you're consistently more than 10 minutes late to pick up your child from preschool, we're calling child services because you are obviously not a responsible parent. We are not a daycare, we are a school. And anyway, I guess the other day it was an hour. The kid's parents didn't show up for an hour. And so the kid obviously has some troubled parents, some problems at home, and he's lashing out. And today was this big meeting with all the parents, and all the other parents have been complaining because their kids have been coming home with like, he's hit our grandniece, he's punched our grandniece like twice, he's punched all the kids like 2 or 3 times. And there was going to be a big meeting, and they were going to talk to the parents, and that mom did not show up today. Neither did the kid show up today. So I think she got wind that she was going to get her butt chewed out, and that her kid was going to, and because the teachers are like wanting to send the kids to therapy. They're like, this kid needs to see a psychologist. We need to figure out what's going on. But obviously there's some troubled parent stuff going on, which is sad. It makes you sad for the kids, because it's like, he's also the only one, his parents like never, like all the other kids get lunches, like their parents pack him a lunch. And this kid shows up to school and he has no packed lunch. So he's sitting there during lunchtime and he never has any food, no snacks. And I just feel so sorry for this little kid, because, he's 3 or 4 and his mom and dad don't give a shit. Like, it just makes you sad. To think about, stuff like that. It makes me sad anyway. And it also makes me angry because it's like, if you're adult enough to spread your legs or to stick your dick in, like, you need to be responsible enough to take care of, it's just, kids are the only reason they got COVID, says Gray. Hector, is this game worth it? Why is the combat so basic? Why are there loading screens? Right, Voicey? Yeah, it was kind of super sad. It's a little frustrating. So I don't know if that kid will be coming back to school or not. They're gonna find out next week. But there was a big meeting today, and the mom just didn't show up, and the kid didn't come to school today. But I think the reason he didn't come to school today is because of the announcement that the director made yesterday, which was if you're more than 10 minutes late reliably, we're going to call child services. I think that put the fear into that parent. Because I mean, leaving your kid for an hour, like you're an hour late picking your kid up from preschool. That's not cool. Oh, I forgot my auras not on. Some adults should not be allowed to breed. I do, 100%. Oh, that's a lot. Oh, oh, oh! That's a shield. Yeah, this is where I quit the game yesterday and apparently had to work my way back here. We 100% Hector. Um, exactly, Voicey, and that was what the director said yesterday. It was like, a couple of times here and there, not a big deal, but like if you are consistently more than 10 minutes late, the fact that they left that the kid was there for an hour yesterday before the parent showed up. I mean, that's there's obviously things going on in their lives, but that's also why I know that not I mean, I know that it's not a perfect system in any country, but child services in any country is there to help in situations like this. Now, they're not always going to be able to help in every case, and there are obviously flaws in every system, but that's why these services exist. So, I mean, I just feel bad because it's like I don't take my grannies every day. Chris is the one who's officially signed up as the tutor. So she's the one who's officially responsible, goes to all the meetings. I go to probably half the meetings. And and it's also cuz like I'm a man. So it's a weird cultural thing here where the women are traditionally the ones who take care of the children still. It's very much still a patriarchal society in that regards. But even I, only going half the time, have gotten to know all the other mothers, and I think I'm the only. Well, there is one of the. It's actually our air conditioner tech guy, the guy who fixes our air conditioner, installed our air conditioner, does all the maintenance on air conditioner. His kid is in the same class, and he's about half the time like me. He comes when he can, when he doesn't have work. So, but I mean, so I've gotten to know all of those people, on these are the other parents, and they're all. One of them actually is our neighbor. Like literally, she lives, like we share, like our duck has gotten into her backyard. One of our ducks has gotten into her backyard like 2 or 3 times. She gave us a bunch of avocados 2 days ago, and we give stuff like we've given her like we have some extra yogurt, like that kind of stuff. Like so, like one of the kids is literally our next door neighbor, who last summer actually started yelling across the fence, "Neighbor, neighbor!" So it's good people, and you're getting to know all these people, and it makes you really sad because these are all just kids, and you want to see the kids grow up and be good. Um, and you want to see kids be happy because you only get a certain amount of kid life before adulting happens. And as an adult, it's like I don't know. I don't have kids, so I'm sort of, and I'm not even like I skipped the first three. I didn't have to do we didn't have to do the first 3 years of of stuff with our grandniece, so we're just helping out. Um, but I do feel for these other kids because I've also been watching these kids evolve. Like, there's one boy, I was actually talking to him this morning. His mom was there. He cried every single day when they dropped him off for the first. How many days did he cry? Oh, you're sending a message right now. Like 2 weeks he cried every single day. El niño de hoy. Like 2 semanas o 3 semanas llorando. Chris said it was 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Monday through Friday for 3 weeks, this little boy bawled his eyes out every time his mom would drop him off at preschool, right? And then we show up, like I think it was Monday or Tuesday when I went to help drop off, and he's literally like the first one to the door now. And he's like, "Hey, teacher, teacher, teacher." And then we were picking her up 2 days ago, I think, and they had all done like drawings and paintings. And he's like, his mom's waiting for him outside, and he's like totally ignoring his mom. And he's like, "Teacher, teacher, look at my drawing. Did I do a good job with my drawing? Oh, thank you so much, teacher. Bye, teacher." And he's just like super excited. And it's been really cool to see this kid go from being absolutely terrified of being separated from his mom to like, my teacher is the coolest person on the planet. Like, it's so cool to watch this change happening in these, I don't know. And also the sponge thing. So like our granny's like, I'm not as good as I could be about teaching English in the house because we do a lot of Spanish in the household, but she's been picking up English really quick. And like one of the shows she watches, I don't remember what the name of that show is. You told me she watches this one show that's all in English. So it's crazy, man. It's a sponge. Algo de oso. No, tú me dijiste estaba mirando algo en el phone el otro día que estaba en inglés. Ustedes estaban en la banqueta afuera mirando un show en TikTok. Masha and the Bear, I think is what it's, something like that. Um, right, exactly, Hector. If they get no love at home and feel unwanted, it's going to stay with them for the rest of their lives. Yeah, and I think that's just, it's, you can tell. I believe it, Gray. That's some nurture. We all need nurturement, even from a young age. Oh. I don't know what quest that was for. Yeah, and also like we were just one of the things that just happened, like speaking on, the emotional thing of children. I just walked out a few minutes ago at the beginning of the stream and was like saying hi to my niece and my sister-in-law, and our grandniece was like just sobbing, and it's like, did she have a bad day at school or whatever? And it's just like she's just so happy to see her mom because she hasn't seen her mom since Monday, and she does very good. She doesn't have any problems here where she's here, and she has a great time and everything else. But it's still, when her mom gets here, it's this emotional wave just hits her, and she can't control that, and so it comes out as, just sobbing as she's like, "Mom!" And some people would take that to think that, oh, she's upset. It's like, no, she's not upset. She's just emotionally overwhelmed right now because her mom's here, and she's just like, "Oh my God." I don't know. We're having fun. I know Chris is tired. Chris doesn't get any sleep really for Monday through Friday now. What? That is very true, Grace. So actually, one of the things that's been was very interesting to me yesterday, while we were standing in line to drop our granny or to pick her up, they were discussing one of the things that was on the meeting today. Um, one of the kids uh, was calling other kids in the class by their. So there's not a ton of issues with racism in this country. It's not a big deal like it is in like the United States. But there still is some, you know, brown is bad. You can especially see this in like the modern soap operas and novelas where all the actors, all the principal actors are very light skinned, right? And brown skinned people are like the cleaners and the cooks and the plumbers and the electricians. It still is an issue. Not as prevalent. So, and they do a good job, you know, and so of trying to weed it out. And so, like, one of the things being discussed yesterday was one of the moms was upset because she has a brown skinned baby, a brown skinned son. And another kid at class was calling him brown skinned instead of calling him by his name. And so all the moms were getting together to tell the teacher, hey, we need to make sure that that doesn't happen. He needs to call the kid, you know, he needs to call other children by names. We need the teacher to help train that because if he's learned, because he's probably learned it from his parents or his dad or somebody. I don't think was the mom there yesterday for that. La mamá de la niño que estaba insultando a los otros. Yeah, the mom wasn't there for that. Um, so all the other moms were complaining about this kid who apparently was calling other kids by their color, and not just the brown. He was also doing it to. So like a good example of this is if I talk to anybody that's like over 50, they'll call me güero, which means white. It means white Mexican. I'm not a Mexican, but it means white Mexican, right? And so that's a very racist term. Now, culturally, it is a term that everyone over the age of 50 uses because they learned that term many years ago. Oye, güero. So everybody over, or the other one is cello, which means white. It's like a white beer. Cello is a white beer, so they'll also call white-skinned Mexicans cello, or chela if it's a woman, or güero or güera, right? That technically, even though it might not be coming from a place of racism, it still is a very, you know, it is, you're calling someone by their color and not their name, so that could be perceived as a racist term. And as an example, there is a candy here called what is the name of that candy now? Yes, I can. Chris is telling me I shouldn't talk about that on stream. It's fine. It's fine. It's proof. Huh? Yeah, but what's the name of the candy now? Okay, so there is a candy called Nito. That's what it's called now, and it's a. I don't even know if it still has because Mexico has banned the use of. I think it's maybe 6 or 8 years ago they banned the use of um, like spokes characters for cereals and candies. So you know how like in the United States there's like Tony the Tiger is like Frosted Flakes and Funny Rabbit Tricks are for kids. You have the Bunny Rabbit for Tricks, and you had like the Honey Bee for Honey Nut Cheerios, and you have like these characters, right, that are like represent, you know, Tony, who's the Cheeto the Tiger, like you have all of these different characters who represent brands. Well, that was banned here. Like in Mexico, they banned that like 6 or 8 years ago. Like you're not allowed to have characters on cereal boxes or candies anymore because it promotes obesity in children. It promotes diabetes and everything else. Well, there was a candy. It's now called Nito, and it's a little chocolate thing. When we had some friends come visit us, this has been 12, 15 years ago. Mascots, that's the word. Thank you. Um, it used to be called Negrito, which literally means little black person. And the mascot for that candy was a little black kid with an afro, and that was the candy. It was called Negrito, and a little black kid with an afro, and that was the candy. And then like 8 or 10, maybe 10 years ago now. It's been almost a decade maybe. They outlawed that, and they said that's not allowed anymore. Change the name. We're getting rid of mascots and all this stuff. So that's the type of stuff that they're fighting with in preschool right now, is because this one boy in class is running around calling the other boys and girls like Morena, Negrito. So he's calling them Brownie, Blackie, Whitey, and he's calling all of his classmates by skin colors and not by their names. And so all the other moms are like, no, 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 no. Teacher, we have to, we have to make that a priority. Um, no, obviamente no. Chris is saying obviously the kids aren't doing it from a place of maliciousness. It's just they've been taught. And actually, she was saying today actually they had a class specifically that the lesson of the day today was how everyone has different skin colors, but we're all the same. That was literally the class today. Chris is telling me at preschool. So the teacher literally was telling everybody today, okay, we all have different look all of us. Let's all put our arms together. Look at us. We all have different colored skin, but we all have the same arms. We all have the same eyes. We all have the same, so it's just, they're having to nip that stuff in the bud because and again, the kid isn't doing it. He's not doing it from a place of maliciousness, but the problem was that one of the other children felt bad because he was getting called he wasn't, being called by his name, and so now, the moms are rightfully upset, going, "Hey, we gotta make sure that this kid gets the proper education because he's obviously not learning anything at home, because that's where you pick that shit up, is you learn it from your home environment." Oh, that's way better. Well, not way better, but a little better. Oh, they look a lot better though. I don't have those stupid horns sticking out of my shoulders now. Oh, is there no way to get around here? Mexico sounds so advanced. I mean, in a lot of ways, and also I will credit. We have a really cool president right now. Who the last president was really good, and then the current president is also very good. It's the first woman president, isn't it? And she's a scientist. Her career was a scientist before she got into politics, so she's got her head on her shoulders. And her, the previous administration, and she's continuing. It's the same administration essentially. They have been doing really good things, um, in terms of the culture and in terms of, like, they've raised the minimum wage a whole bunch, and they've given scholarships to all the kids to go to school, and they're promoting education. It's a good thing. This is a slang. Lunga is a term in South Africa meaning white man. Correct. That's the perfect example of what I say. When someone calls me güero, I don't get offended, because that's just, I recognize as a 45-year adult that the person using, they just don't know any better, and it's just what they've always called people who have white skins. Um, the brown eyes and blue eyed lessons they did in some schools, gray. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What was the term? I hadn't heard that term before. Hector says gollywog. I haven't heard that one before. Yeah, there's all sorts of things that have just thankfully been banned over time. Unfortunately, you still have a lot of issues in just different countries because of cultural stuff. What? That guy dodged behind me. Anyway, talking about some more serious stuff today on the stream. By the way, guys, knock on wood, we're 40 minutes in and we're not having any issues yet. So I'm hopeful that the issues with um, Streamlabs may have gotten worked out. Far Too Hectic 6, thanks for always being awesome. Renfail over on TikTok, I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, life is hard. So, I missed that comment earlier. Life is hard. Why make it harder on your kids? There's also, like, we were walking to school yesterday, and, or maybe it was this morning. No, it was yesterday. And as we were walking to school, there is another, on the way to school, there is a, you know, obviously you can, you know, they are a poorer family. And they have children who are of the preschool age and also of the like second or third grade age. And then they also have a daughter who is probably 12, 13, 14. I don't know. She's in that age. None of them are in school at all. And it's like, school doesn't cost any money. So it just kind of makes you go, well, do you not value? And some people don't. Some people don't value education. It's just you know, you are a product of your environment, and unfortunately, those kids will never go beyond. I shouldn't say never. That's probably a bad way to look at it. It will be very difficult for those children to find opportunities in life because their parents didn't give a shit enough to help them find the opportunities. That's probably the better way to say that without being, you know, I'm trying to think about how to say that without sounding like an absolute prick. But I think that's what it comes down to. Like, you are a product of your environment, and when your parents don't care enough to get you educated, send you to school, and give you all the opportunities, I mean, life's gonna be hard, unnecessarily hard. Like, life is already difficult. And you also gotta think, like, I don't know psychologically, like, what those kids are gonna feel like when they're, you know, 15 years old. They start realizing that the rest of the world isn't like the home life they have, and they start getting out into the real world, and they're like, oh my god, I'm not like all these other kids. And it's because they didn't get a chance to, you know, go to school, get socialized, and get, you know, have an education. I mean, by the way, I'm not saying that like education is perfect. Like, the education system needs a lot of work. But at the same time, like, there are aspects to getting an education that are very, very beneficial, not the least of which is opportunities, you know? Oh, shit, that hurt. Anyway, waxing a little philosophical during today's stream, everybody. You're not wrong, Hector. The world, it's messed up, but it is true. And I say all of that as someone who I never finished high school and I never went to college. But my life, I've turned out okay, and I've been extremely successful as an entrepreneur, and I've, been successful in life in general. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, especially when I first started getting going in my career as a writer around 2008. I was 28 years old, and I had come out of the construction industry, right? And it was so hard to get gigs as a writer in my late 20s as I was trying to establish myself, because 90% of jobs, when you went to look at the job application, they wanted you to list your education. What university did you go to? What did you graduate with? What was your what was your diploma? What was your degree? And I didn't have any of that. And so I'm trying to apply for jobs, and no one wants to hire you because you didn't go to college. And it's like, it shouldn't matter that I didn't go to college. Um, and as much as I don't get along with my old man, my father also never went to college and didn't finish high school. And by the time he was 30, he was already a multimillionaire, through the cattle industry and his construction company. It's like, you don't have to necessarily have a college degree to be successful. Um, the way society is structured, if you don't have that college degree and that education, that's the part of it I'm talking about. That, you're making your child's life unnecessarily difficult if you don't give them all of those opportunities. Restore. Well, I do have the... How do I... Oh, it says obtain the third golden skull. My bad, I didn't read that till just now. There it is. I need that third skull. That's right, it is true. Machines will be flipping the burgers soon enough.